Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We recently went back to the famous mining town, Deadwood, South Dakota, where we decided to visit the graves of the infamous characters Wild Bill Hickok, Calamity Jane, Preacher Smith, and Zeth Bullock. So come with us as we climb the steep hill of Mount Moriah Cemetery to reach these famous grave sites. So we're in Deadwood, South Dakota, a famous western mining town. And then we're going to go up on this hill here, which has the famous Mount Moriah Cemetery is up this way, where Wild Bill Hickok and Zeth Bullock and Calamity Jane are buried. And we're also going to go check out Preacher Smith's grave, which was a famous preacher of this area. Next to the Oyster Bay restaurant is the Wild Bill Bar, and you can pay some money and go downstairs and see where they say Wild Bill was really killed. This used to be the number 10 bar. It's downstairs because street level used to be downstairs. There's been many floods and many fires that have happened here. And so street level is in the basement of this restaurant and bar. Rumor has it, this is the Adams house, that the house next to it is where Zeth Bullock died, where his house was, but it's no longer there. So the cemetery used to be down here, and then they wanted to build all these houses. This was prime real estate, so they moved the cemetery up, further up. Preacher Smith, Wild Bill Hickok, they all got moved. They were buried down here originally and then moved up to the hill. Zeth Bullock and Calamity Jane were all buried up on the hill. So we're way above Deadwood, South Dakota, right there. The famous mining town, and we're in Mount Moriah Cemetery. It's built on a hill, and so you have to do a lot of climbing to get to the famous graves. So we're approaching Bill Hickok's grave and Calamity Jane. They're buried up above here, which we'll go up to, but you can see the bronze bust that was made of him. It's about his 5th memorial. And then Calamity Jane is right next to him, and Potato Creek Johnny, who was the person that found the largest gold nugget, I believe. So we're climbing up to Bill Hickok's grave and Calamity Jane. They're buried next to each other. When Calamity was dying, she basically told them to bury her next to Bill. And what is a misconception is that they were friends, and they weren't. They knew each other, but he actually couldn't stand her, is the rumor. But yeah, here's Bill's grave. So I'm at Bill Hickok's grave at Mount Moriah Cemetery. Calamity Jane is buried next to him per her request, even though they weren't close friends like the show made it out to be. He actually was not a fan of hers, of her. He thought she was irritating, rumor has it.
I've seen a lot of people do that.
So right next to Bill Hickok and Calamity Jane is Potato Creek Johnny. And the story goes is that he found one of the largest gold nuggets here in Deadwood. And I actually have a picture of, I don't know whether it's a replica, it probably is, but down in the museum, the Adams Museum, is where I took the picture of it. can see, the cemetery, they're just stacked right on top, right on top of each other, just right up the hill. And then way up on the top of the hill by itself is Zeth Bullock and his wife. So we'll make our way up there. So let's take a look at this headstone down here. I've never looked at this one. It's been probably 8 years since I've been here. And so I kind of know where the people who I want to see's grave are, but I've never noticed this really cool headstone down here. A young girl kneeling. Thomas Green. It's got an American flag on it. The most I can make out on the headstone is the name and the year they were, how old they were is pretty much gone. I think they died in 1881. There's actually a couple of people here in the Green's family. Thomas Green, another Green whose name I can't make out, but it looks like they all died in 1881 and 1880. One of them was 9 months, 28 days. So sad. If you come here during season, you pay money to get in. Make sure you have cash. Make sure that you get this map because then you'll be able to find everybody's grave. I'm not really using it because I've been here so many times. I couldn't know where everybody is. But yeah, and as you can see, here's the main cemetery. And you have to go up this hill to get to Zeth Bullock's grave, which is what we're going to do right now. All right, I'm on my way to Zeth Bullock's grave. It's already super steep. We haven't even gotten to the path that takes you up to the grave. And you can hear me huffing and puffing. You are in altitude here, by the way. So we just walked up that, plus another road that came up this way. And now we're still going up. We still haven't gotten to the trailhead of Zeth's grave. So basically, he built the Friendship Tower on one of these hills over here, which was a memorial to Teddy Roosevelt that he built because they were close friends. And he wanted to be able to see the Friendship Tower from his grave, and that's why he's buried so far up here. Still climbing up to Zeth's grave. I'm almost to the trailhead. As you look down, you see how high up we are. Yeah, that's where where those people are. That's where Bill's grave is in Calamity Jane. Yeah, so I'm at Franklin's grave, probably the owner of the Franklin Hotel, I'm assuming. So down there's Calamity Jane and Bill's grave. We'll make it way over there to go see Preacher Smith. But yeah, we still have a little more of a climb to do. Up, up, up we go. I guess this is the original road to his grave. I guess they brought the casket all the way up this hill.
I would have brought the Jeep up, no problem.
Because there's the parking lot you have to park in. So I'm sure this is the original road.
Wouldn't even break a sweat.
Well, they actually buried somebody here recently. That pioneer they found in that guy's backyard down below. Guy was redoing his yard.
That guy, yeah.
They call him the pioneer because they don't know who he is. But yeah, the guy was redoing his yard about a decade plus, and he found a body, found a skeleton. And so he was in the original cemetery and got missed. So they brought him up here and buried him next to Zeth. There's supposed to be a plaque. So the Freedom Tower's out there somewhere across the gulch. But I don't think you can see it because back then there weren't the trees that are there now. So it's covered up with trees. Yeah, because I've never seen it from over here.
I mentioned I'm getting too old for this shit.
And we're still going. Still climbing.
Oh-wee, oh-wee, oh.
Yep. Yeah, you can see we came up here. We're still going. Stopping for a rest to catch our breath. Because we're old. So yeah, that's, you can see how high up we are above Deadwood. Nice view of it from up here. So it looks like there's a grave over to the left. It's not Zeph's, because I've been to Zeph's before.
That was the last guy trying to climb the hill.
Maybe that's the pioneer.
Might be.
Maybe they I was told that he was buried with Zeph, but maybe he's buried. Maybe he's buried over there now. That wasn't here last time we were up here. Or I didn't notice it. So if anybody knows anything about it, let me know. It's Zeph's grave. And we're still climbing. But let's go check this out first. We can actually go over here.
The headstone's almost as big as the hill.
Let's see who this is. This one's new to me. Let's see. There's no marker. Yeah.
Could just be the bored hippie pile.
It may just be a pile of rocks. I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments. Or if I find out when I make this video, I'll put it up in captions. Alright, so we're going to walk back over to Zeph's grave with a little bit more of a climb. Boy, my thighs are going to be killing me tonight. So, he's buried here with his wife, Martha.
He was a thoughtful man. He put that bench there for me.
So, I can actually, last time I was here you weren't able to go in here, but you can now because there's no gate. This is Zeth Bullock. I think it killed my husband. Well, yeah, that was quite a climb to get up here. The pioneers' graves are actually down there. I don't know what the second headstone is. We'll go down and take a look. But yeah, this is a jaunt to come up here. He's got an old wrought iron fence around him. Nice view of Deadwood. But I still don't see the Freedom Tower across the way. Like I said, there's so many trees now you can't see it from here, but you used to be able to. And that was his wishes. Several people have left rocks on top, pine cones. They must come and clean it off every so often, I'm sure. I mean, I've been here where that whole top is full. This is like my third climb to this grave. And every time I'm like so out of breath. So bring water with you. Today's a cold day, so I didn't bring any water, and I wish I had. So I'm sitting at Zeph's grave still, and out this way is Terry, the town of Terry. It's pretty much a ghost town, and that's where Calamity Jane died. She lived there and died, and I forget the name of that mine. I think I have got some video of it. I have to go through my stuff, but I believe it's still a working mine, and it sits like right above Terry. There's actually a ski resort over there too. So we're gonna see about the pioneer grave here. I missed this last time I was here. Oh, so, okay. So yeah, they do have a second person here. So they have the unknown pioneer that I was talking about. He was discovered in 2012. And then one of the, I'm assuming one of the Chinamen that is from the Chinatown district. So yeah, this one's new to me.
Yeah, this is.
There's actually a lot of survey markers up here, like several. If anybody knows the story behind those, let me know in the comments. But yeah.
People being buried up here with him, but this is a row. I mean, it's designated as row U, so we'll have to look on their map. Good seeing you, Seth. Can't come home with me. You wouldn't like the modern cars anyway. Hell, I'm not sure if I like them.
As we're going down, you can really see how much we came up. I mean, it's quite a ways. Oh yeah, look at that.
Those little ants down there, those are automobiles.
Making our way back down from Zeph's grave. Doc Holliday's grave is like this in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. We've been to many times, and you have to climb up a dirt road like this that's a lot narrower. It's more like that to get to Doc Holliday's grave. So the one final grave that we're making our way to is Preacher Smith. He's down, way down there. So as I can see, after Zeph died, his wife Martha stayed in the area. She was a very prominent citizen here. Did a lot of charity work, church work. And it looks like one of his kids stayed here, his daughter. And she ended up going to Lead and is buried there. And her son, if I remember correctly, became the vice president of the Homestake Law. Is that what it's called? Homestake Mine? If I'm incorrect, I'll put the correct one up in the caption. But yeah, he became the vice president of it. And so, you know, I'm not sure, but he's most likely still has some family in the area. This graveyard has several potter's fields. If you don't know what that is, it's where when you can't afford to be buried, the city or the government buries you in potter's field. So Deadwood had a lot of diseases come through. And
Sure, the cleanliness was
yeah, it was not a clean city. But up over here, we're about ready to approach where they buried several smallpox victims that Calamity Jane helped take care of because she had had smallpox when she was young, so she was immune to it. So, like, here's the North Potter's Field, that sign says.
So there's no telling how many people they buried in this field?
Yeah, so, yeah, they don't know how many people are there. They didn't keep good records. But, yeah, so she took care of people. She had a kind heart and a tough life. She was basically abandoned. Her and her siblings were abandoned by their father in Wyoming. And she ended up in Fort Laramie and made her way up here in the Deadwood Stagecoach from Fort Laramie, which is right above Cheyenne, Wyoming. So this is a mass grave right
You know
here.
what the story is behind Henry here, that he was hung by vigilantes
Hung by vigilantes.
at the age of 24.
Wow.
I have to look up that
That's
story.
quite a headstone.
And he's buried over here by the mass grave.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah, here's one of the mass graves.
fatal fire in both.
Oh, this mass grave is the fatal fires. They had several really bad fires.
Looks like it's about 10 people buried in there.
So
Names are listed.
Mr. Martini's saying there's about 10 people that plaque says are buried here from the fire. The smallpox victims are down here. The smallpox victims are down here. That's what this brown sign is marking them. Again, we're still coming down from Zeph's grave way up there, looking for Preacher Smith.
Sounds like they had 2 years of suffering here.
The most tragic episode in the history of Deadwood was the smallpox, scarlet fever, diphtheria epidemics from 1878 to 1880, taking the lives of many children. If you're not familiar with scarlet fever, if you don't get on an antibiotic when you have strep throat, it turns into scarlet fever. And so, as you can tell by the dates, this is prior to antibiotics, which came around in the 50s. So, they had bad sore throat and ended up dying of scarlet fever. So I think by the 20s, though, I think they might have had a shot for scarlet fever. Isn't that the Balto story? Where Balto the dog is taking the...
You're rambling now.
So my husband...
I'll give you credit. You were close.
My husband didn't believe me about Balto and scarlet fever, but it did turn out to be diphtheria. He took serum.
The serum run.
To Nome, right?
Yeah.
So Balto the dog really exists.
1925. So it was 45 years from
Yeah,
from that
look
date.
it up. Balto the dog was real, and he took the serum.
The serum. I didn't
by
doubt
sled,
Balto. I
but it was for diphtheria, not scarlet fever.
I doubted the
I
serum.
thought it was scarlet fever.
Antibiotics are hard to come by.
So here he is, Preacher Smith.
Told you he was right down here.
There's a nice monument. I don't remember this monument being this nice last time we were here.
Might have been redone.
Yeah, somebody was saying there was a statue, but there was no. I've been here.
Maybe it was a past monument.
Yeah, it must have been, because I've been here several times over the last 12 years, and I've never seen a statue. I'm not even sure if this is the one I've seen. I have to look at my old pictures. But it says Preacher Smith in memory of Reverend Henry Winston Smith, Connecticut, 1827. Dakota, because when he died it was the Dakota Territory, in 1876. So he was only here for a short time, not even a year, I don't even think. And he left his family back in Massachusetts, where they're all buried, his wife and 4 children, and came out west to preach. He was in the Civil War, and after the Civil War he became a doctor, and then he took to the calling of becoming a preacher. And he was the first preacher here in Deadwood, and he was murdered on his way to another town,
Crook City.
Crook City, to
Well, the name says a lot.
to to preach, and he was murdered. Some say by local Native Americans, others say by thieves, others say by the vice industry, such as brothels and bars and the drug dealers, and so we really don't know who murdered him, but he was found on the side of the road on his way to preach the Lord. So, and then I also read that Zeth Bullock was supposed to do the reading at his funeral, which was actually down below in the old cemetery. He was moved here. But then I reading other literature saying that his ceremony, his funeral, was done by a contemporary, another reverend that was under him. So I don't know which is the truth. If you know the history of Deadwood well, please let me know in the comments. Last look of Bill before we leave, and Calamity Jane.